Hey guys, I know it's been a minute. I'm so sorry. I was going through a lot, just like everybody else. I know the plan was to do a video a week, and I know I haven't posted in a while, but I'm here now without making any false promises about whether or not I'll be dropping a video a week or not. I don't know, man. The way life is set up, the way this pandemic is set up, things are a little bit tricky. Anyway, as you guys can see, if you watch my videos regularly, I'm not in my normal setting. I am home, sweet home in South Africa, my childhood home where I grew up, where the walls are pink, the curtains are pink, the bedding is pink. It feels amazing to be home. I am content, I am happy, and I have just been spending the past couple of days with family and friends, but also just reflecting on the year and moving to a new country in a pandemic. So a couple of days I think marked the 1st of Jan 2021 marked exactly a year since I decided to move to the UK. So it is my 1 year anniversary, although I'm not there, but I will be going back there. But yeah, and I just thought I'd share some of my thoughts, some of the thoughts I had during my reflection. So I landed in the UK on the 1st of January 2020 with 2 pink suitcases, ready to take on the world, bright-eyed, excited. And then March, lockdown happened in March, and I was like, oh my goodness, what now? So I think looking back to that time and now, do I regret moving to the UK, considering I spent a lot of the time there in lockdown? The answer is no. When lockdown happened in March, literally 2.5 months odd, after I'd moved in, I just thought, wow, what now? I'm so nervous. I had feelings of self-doubt. I just thought, have I made a mistake? Have I made the worst mistake of my life? I started to just feel like maybe, I should not have moved. Would have been much better for me to have been spending all that time with my family. And here I was in a new country, new job, new pandemic, and I was scared, to be honest. But, the Lord, honestly, I don't even want to downplay how important it was for me to stay centered in God. And although I had my moments where I was just wrestling, with the idea that God was with me, I know that He was. And so, the first important thing for me was that, I don't regret it. I still don't have, regrets. The feelings of self-doubt are normal, and to anyone who call it what you will, how to survive moving to a new country in a pandemic, I think that it's normal to have self-doubt, whether or not you move during a national crisis. But I think it's very normal to have feelings of self-doubt and just feeling like, have I made a mistake? Because it's a completely different culture, work ethic is different, and the only thing I feel like I had in common with people was that they could speak English and I could speak English. I look different, I sound different, I work differently. So I did feel that culture shock. But yeah, it's completely normal. You do adjust. And yeah, the second thing I think I've learned about living abroad, especially during a pandemic, is that you will make mistakes. Some mistakes are costlier than others. I've made mistakes from like taking the wrong bus to being overcharged for rent. Oh my goodness, my rent story is a story on its own. But to cut it short, I was overcharged for my rent for a very small studio apartment, and literally a few months in, the roof started leaking. They had promised that they would fix certain things, but they didn't, and so it was just a nightmare. It was a nightmare to live in. I was overpaying, I feel, compared to, you know, eventually speaking to people and finding out that, you know, girl, you're not even supposed to be paying that much. But I was overcharged, and I was yeah, it really wasn't a great experience. So I mean, I've made tons and tons and tons of mistakes, because people, like, I think the renting market in London, because London is such an expensive place to live, like, people are cunning, people are ruthless. Nobody's gonna be like, hey girl, you know, you really need to be mindful of certain things. And so I think, being someone who was renting for the first time, I mean, I've never lived outside of home. I don't know the renting market. You know, I thought I had done my due diligence, but I didn't, clearly. And I was very unhappy with the place that I was staying at. It was very noisy as well. I think my biggest takeaway from it is just, you know, and to anyone that's going to be renting, is to make sure, don't just request a break clause, but to make sure that it actually is in the contract, you know. I think it's so how a break clause works is that you, in the contract, make sure that after a few months, maybe 6 months, halfway through your lease, you're allowed to break the contract if you feel like you're not happy, you want to move, you know. So my lease was like fixed into a year. Like, I was so upset. I remember I was chilling the one time, I'm chilling in the room, you know, I'm watching TV, been a long week, all of a sudden the roof starts leaking. Like, brr. Imagine if I had company. Like, I grabbed a bucket. Like, what was I supposed to do? I just took buckets. I was just like, oh my gosh, I left my warm, safe, beautiful, comfortable family home to be dealing with leaking roofs and noisy neighborhoods, and just, and I think the guy living next to me, like, smoked a lot of weed, because wow, every day, every hour. Anyway, that's yeah, mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes, but I mean, we live and learn. I'm moving to another apartment now, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, that's my story with the mistakes that I made. And then the third thing is that it takes time to adjust. It really takes a long time to adjust. I don't feel like I've lived in the UK for a year. Honestly, I feel like it's been 3 to 4 months at most. Okay, time does fly, but also I just feel like, you know, pandemic and lockdown aside, the first couple of months, you're just finding your favorite stores, you're finding your favorite foods, you're finding your way home, because getting lost is such a thing. Like, you know, I was always getting lost. The one time I was on my phone texting, you know, I missed my stop on the train. It's just one of those things. But you're not a tourist, you know. Moving to a new country is different from being a tourist, because when you're a tourist, you're just there, man. It's good vibes. You're not even, you know, trying to, you just you take lots of pics. You're just, you know, good vibes, good time going to the touristy areas. But living in the UK is different from being a tourist. You know, it's not just red telephone booths, man. There's bills to pay, there's, you know, council tax and things like that. So I think I'm gonna do another video on just like renting in the UK as well, because there's so many like embedded costs, there's so many hidden costs that creep up on you, and you're like, okay. Anyway, so yeah, it's different from being a tourist, and I think it takes a long time to settle into a new country. And so, you know, that's something to consider as well. Like, man. So yeah, am I going back? Yes. I feel like going into 2021, I'm ready to immerse myself once again into the work, you know, the corporate culture, you know, the vibe, everything. I'm ready to keep learning, keep growing, absorb as much as I can, keep traveling. Also try to share as much of my experience as I can with everyone. But this video is just short because literally it was just my AM thoughts, these thoughts that I had this morning. It wasn't really planned at all. It was literally just me thinking, hey, here's some thoughts about my experience. I hope you got something from it, and if you would like to know more, please leave a comment on what you would like to know, and then I'll do another video or I'll reply. But you know, the usual stuff. Please share this video with a friend who is maybe considering moving, or I don't know, man, you know what to do. Bye.